Flamball. Okay, go ahead.
He posted some. I have moved back. Into it, like normal volume, where you. I think that when we. I forgot. I was gonna do this email first.
Get it under control.
I took 3 Tums.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman. If this is your first time listening to us, first off, thanks for checking us out. We post episodes every other Friday, and they include in-depth discussions on new issues, recaps on past issues with friends that have never read it before, and we talk about comics that tie into Invincible Universe, and talk all about all the news that hits, including the recently announced Invincible movie. And stick around after the new issue discussion where we do another fan spotlight, this time with Rob Hagemeister. So if you want to message us, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. Now, this episode is going to be all about issue 135, which was just released last week, April 19th. Joining me to talk all about that one is TJ.
What's up?
And Bill.
Hey, everyone.
First off, a couple news items. The Chicago convention, C2E2, was just last weekend.
What does that stand for, C2E2?
TJ, do you know?
No.
C?
I feel like I do know, but I forgot what it was.
Comics
I forgot
2,
it, too.
because it's 2. Comics 2, E2.
Entertainment.
Oh, it's C2E... no, it's...
Comics to Entertainment 2?
It's CC. It's Chicago Comic-Con C2...
And then 2
Chicago...
E's.
So
It's CCECC.
Oh, is that what it is?
CCECC.
All right. Well, regardless, that event happened. So if you got to check that out, that's pretty cool. Ryan Ottley was there. Hopefully you guys, everybody listening, got to check out his Twitter, his Instagram. He posted some really awesome sketches. We just got done looking through them. The skateboard was really cool. He actually drew on someone's skateboard. That Battle Beast, that was all red.
The best one was the Bloody Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse
That
was
might
hilarious.
be my favorite, one of my favorite ones he's ever done.
Yeah.
The Conquest that he did, he actually had a live drawing, like a little 5-second clip of him drawing that, didn't he?
Yep, that one
He was
was really
using
neat.
like a white pen, too. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. If you look at the Cyclops up there, he actually uses the white pen on a couple things.
Yep.
Pretty neat.
Huh.
Anything else come out of that convention, TJ? I didn't really see anything else, but the Gwinvincible April Fool's cover that was supposed to release with issue 135, there was actually a shipping error, and they instead shipped out all the Diamond Retailer Summit black and white versions of that variant, and so they actually asked all the comic shops and everybody to send them back. And the Invincible, official Invincible Twitter said that there was in fact an error with the shipping of the regular covers, and that they'll have more info soon. So hopefully they'll still get those, colored Gwinvincible variants out there because they're pretty cool looking. Other than that, I just wanted to do a couple emails real quick before we jump into this issue. The first email comes from Devin Barry. He says, "Hey guys, my name is Devin. I'm a huge fan of Invincible and most recently your podcast. Mike Barrett was the one who pointed me in your direction of the podcast via Twitter. I'm very happy he did. I've been reading Invincible since the Viltrumite War. I've never read, seen, or heard anything greater in all of fiction." He says that I've been a comic reader for most of my life, but never gave indies much of a chance till Invincible, and I was always content with what Marvel and DC put out. Invincible opened my eyes to so many new books. The reason I'm telling you this is because, much like how Invincible opened my eyes to comics, you guys opened my eyes to podcasts. And I've never listened to podcasts before, ever. You guys were hilarious, intelligent, fun. Yeah, thanks for all that, Devin. He also says, in regards to episode 12, when you asked, what do you think the comic needs to do before it ends? I have an opinion on what I think it needs to happen, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So Devin goes on to say that I think the one thing the comic needs to do is kill off Omni-Man. The one thing I really think Kirkman and Ottley need to do is have a huge battle on Earth between Thrag's child Viltrumite army and the Coalition Guardians / everyone on Earth. In this fight, I think that Thrag should kill Omni-Man in front of everyone on Earth because it would be the perfect redemption for his character. It would resolve the first major conflict of the series introduced to us. Everyone on Earth will see that his sacrifice, the sacrifice he made, and forgive him for the heartbreaking mistake he made in Trade Paperback 3. Again, I would love to know your thoughts on this. Keep up the great work, guys. You have a listener for life. Love, Devin. P.S. Yes, I said love.
I think that this is one inevitable thing that's going to happen. I think Omni-Man is definitely going to die somehow.
Yeah. I agree. I think Omni is going
in past episodes too. Like
I think Hal is going to be.
Yeah, I actually like the idea of him dying on Earth. That's comes full circle.
And that made me think, like, he's never actually gone back to Earth, like, publicly. You know what I mean? Like,
he was forced to. Yeah, he was forced to stay on the moon.
Yeah.
You know,
interesting.
In Star Wars Episode 1, when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are fighting Darth Maul, and then they have, like, the blast doors, or the laser doors, and then it shuts fucking... Obi-Wan out, and then Qui-Gon has to fight him alone.
He like screams.
It's going to be something like that. Like,
where Mark's
it's going to be
see
Mark. It? Yeah, Mark's definitely going to see the death, and I think it's going to be.
What if it's execution style? What if Thrag executes
almost like
Omni-Man in front of
a certain Walking Dead character? I don't know if we want to get into Walking Dead spoilers, but with a katana.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, but what if he like news cameras everywhere, and he's like, here's Omni-Man, and he tears him in half? Maybe because he wants Earth to think that Omni-Man was still bad. There's too much story there, though.
Yeah.
There's not enough time to talk about all that stuff.
Maybe.
Or to like get into that kind of conflict, I don't think.
All right, and then one more email before we get into the new issue. This is from Sean Aitchison.
And we'll have more emails too throughout the issue.
We got a lot of emails this week. Thank you everybody for sending them in. Sean Aitchison wrote in. He says, "Dear Invincible Podcast, my name is Sean, and I'm a writer-contributor for Comic Book Resources and a longtime fan of Invincible. I've been reading since my first year at San Diego Comic-Con in around 2008 or 2009. I was introduced when I walked up to the Image booth, and they suggested the book as like if Superman had a teenage son, and that was alone enough to get me. I bought and read the first trade within the first 2 hours and immediately went back to buy the next two. Suffice it to say, I was hooked, so much so that I cosplayed as Invincible for the next 2 years at San Diego Comic-Con." He goes on to say that he's a big fan of the podcast, and we actually got him to reread the series, and his girlfriend is into it as well. I love hearing the new reader episodes, and I also like hearing your thoughts on how it's all going to end. With all that said, he has a few conversation topics. One topic he wants us to talk about is actually Dragon Ball Z, which none of us have actually watched. Bill, you haven't watched it, right?
You started it.
That's untrue. Yeah, me and Liz started it.
But Liz is actually the one who knows it.
I don't know. I mean, it was a while since she watched it.
So I've actually reached out to Liz. If you're listening to this, you might know Liz. She's one of the new readers, and she's actually going to talk about this topic on the next new reader. I'm going to bring it up to her. So listen to that if you want to hear her take on how Invincible kind of correlates with Dragon Ball Z. The other thing Sean wants to talk about is the subject of Terra's powers, and he talks about how he thinks Terra's going to get, Eve's abilities and kind of become this, machine that at the end that defeats Thrag. And we've talked a little bit about that. This is a little bit older of an email, but yeah, we love that idea. We love the idea.
I don't really
you don't like that?
I don't want Terra to be the one to beat Thrag.
Okay. Maybe not beating Thrag, but I love the idea of her getting like these universe or reality altering powers like a Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Especially because she won't have those blocks that Eve has. And so his other theory has to do with, as you called it, the alien spaghetti monster returning for some time travel trickery. I think that whatever happens with the final battle, the alien is going to reboot everything once more to try and again to get Mark to change the future. Sean says that, Mark will do no such thing, and the alien will punish him by not letting him return to the original timeline. And then from there, Mark will live out in a time loop where he returns to the beginning after the ending each time. And I think he'll take it in stride, getting to relive getting his powers, falling in love with Eve, and having a daughter all over again. And I think this would be a very Invincible ending since it never truly ends. It will go on forever. I appreciate you sitting through this long-ass email. As always, keep up the good work. Sincerely, Sean Aitchison. P.S. I'm not writing love.
Which, ironically, he did. I think that kind of idea of it ending that way is really cool. Mm-hmm. When we read certain emails, there's ideas, like there was one where there was like a Dinosaurus theory where he was going to take all the Reanimen. Like, I got really excited at that idea. He kind of got me excited about that idea, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of, Mark getting to relive it all over again. I definitely think the spaghetti monster thing is going to come back.
You think so?
I think it has to come back.
And do what?
It's definitely going to.
If it can, but I mean, if it's a time-traveling dimensional being, why does it care about the future that's set in this one timeline?
This is the one reason I think it'll come back.
He said he was going to pay for his decision.
It's because he says that you've doomed us all. Like, what does that mean? I think that's the only reason it needs to come back. If it was just like a little like thing just to do reboot and just kind of be like, oh, it's done, you know.
But what can this time thing do though?
Oh,
Can it go back in time and change things, or is it just like an observer?
I don't think that it's a villainous, thing. I think it's something
it's like the Watcher in Marvel.
That it saw an opportunity to fix things and asked Mark, "Do you want to fix this?" And Mark chose not to, and he said, "Like, I'm giving you a chance here to fix this. If you don't fix this, then you're gonna fuck up the world." And Mark said, "I don't care. I love my daughter too much to just let her go." So he came back, and now the spaghetti monster is saying, I don't think there's anything you can do. But I think it's going to come back, and just to say it's "I told you so."
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's exciting. So let's jump into this. Issue 135 of Invincible. This is part 3 of 12, to the end of all things. This cover is featuring Ursel, which I think is appropriate after reading this. Yeah, after reading this issue. Awesome cover. I like it. Got some cool Thresher action. I like seeing Thrag with his back turned and all the his army and all the ships. Very cool cover. First page though, splash page right off the bat. Ursel and another Viltrumite, from the army, flying through these alien creatures. And then, on the next page, Ursula lands, shocked to see Thrag on the planet there talking to her. And, Thrag is basically saying that he wants to set up a permanent base because he's always liked this planet. Now, I knew I had seen these aliens before, and I showed you guys right before we started recording. Issue 11, when Omni-Man is giving his speech, saying, revealing to Mark the true intentions of the Viltrumites, and he mentions that there wasn't, that they conquered planets. There's a 2-page splash where it shows a Viltrumite standing over dead alien bodies, and it's these aliens. So it's interesting. I wonder if maybe throughout time, and again, it might be nothing, but I'm thinking maybe throughout time, since the Viltrumites dwindled down to such few numbers, the Coalition reclaimed this planet and these aliens, and now the Viltrumites are taking them back, which I thought was pretty cool.
They had to. That's the only thing that makes sense, because why would they be retaking a planet that they had already conquered?
Well, we know that they're systematically conquering again, and they used to do that, but then their numbers dwindled. So. Oh yeah,
I guess. Oh, that's when before the Scourge virus. Yeah, the Scourge virus. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
I have an issue, and it's, what did you just say?
I was just gonna say, Ottley actually posted the inked version of the first page, the splash cover, and just said, "I love making things go splat." Because I mean, we talked to him in our interview about why they chose to end it, and he was just he was saying, he wants to draw something new. Plus, them in space for a long time, there wasn't a lot going on, and I think that he's loving drawing this comic right now.
Except, I have my first Ottley issue, or my first
Ottley
problem
with Ottley.
With Ottley. And it is the shot of Ursel kneeling before Thrag, and his hand is gigantic. And I understand the angle in which he was trying to go for, but he's done this angle better. Look at how small. Really look at this picture.
You know what? I honestly I see what you're talking about. I didn't even catch that, but I agree with you.
It bothers me.
I understand what you're saying too, but it's not something I...
And overall, I don't know what it was about maybe this issue, or maybe it's, and I was talking to Liz about this too, and I don't know if it's just knowing that it's going to end. And
are you being super critical?
And I'm being very critical, but I'm also, I don't know if I'm being hyper analytic with the pacing of it or not. But my overall feeling about this specific issue was that it had some pacing issues, and that
interesting.
It didn't really make, if you were to film a movie and then make really bad edits.
Okay, we're going to talk about that.
Feels like.
We're going to talk about that. I actually have something to say about that. But then looking at the first page,
I think
the first page is gorgeous.
I don't think that this issue was so much about the good guys as much as setting up the bad guys. I think that all that really happened with Invincible and everybody was that they showed up at the planet and attacked, or they're showing up at planets and attacking. But what's going on with Ursula that we'll get into, in Thrag, and how they're going planet to planet, I think this is... I don't want to call it a setup issue, because a lot happened in this issue. But I think... I don't know.
We'll get into it.
I think that the pacing is fine.
So after Thrag and Ursula have their conversation about, how the Voltrum Empire is thriving and that they're setting up their base of operations there. The next page is, the plan, Mark's plan in action. The previous issue ended with Mark saying he had a plan. And, it shows Mark, Eve, Nolan, and Thresha attacking this alien planet that's under Viltrumite occupation. And they, throw a spaceship into the shield generator, and they start, basically overthrowing the Viltrumite grasp on this, planet. I love seeing Thresha just straight up killing these aliens, and Eve having to stop her.
There was one that Invincible is like tackling.
Yes,
and I think he looks like Oliver.
He does look a little bit like Oliver, that long hair.
Like a younger Oliver.
So we still don't quite know what their plan is at this point. I love the page of Nolan saying, "You need me to," and Mark's like, "No, I got it. I'm just a little rusty, okay, but I got it." And seeing him beaten up and a little bloodied from fighting this Viltrumite and wrestling him to the ground, it looks like they're in a crater. And Mark says that they'll take them to the flagship and we'll find out what he knows. That Viltrumite says that he'll tell them nothing and then he'll just wait for his father to come. It's just a matter of time, right? And then on the next page, it's Alan talking to what I'm assuming is the leader of that alien race that, Thresha was fucking up. And that leader of that race is basically telling Alan, like, hey, we're not going to fight back if the Viltrumites come back. We can't keep being torn back and forth between, the Coalition and the Viltrumites. Like, they take us over, then we belong to you, then, they take us over again.
It's a really good point.
I loved that when he said that, because it was a character that we don't know being intelligent. You know what I mean? Like, it's somebody we've never seen this character before, and I'm already relating to him. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, he's not just a pawn just because we don't know his character. You know what I mean?
I know.
They're real lives.
If I ruled a planet and this fucking alien race came by and they were gonna start killing him, I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, what's gonna happen? You're not gonna really do anything. You're just gonna be here. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then if this other warring thing that came through and they were like peaceful and wanted to keep us all alive, I'd be like, cool. Like, the Viltrumites don't want to destroy or annihilate these planets. They just want them under their control.
Rule. Yep.
Or their rule.
Same
thing with the Coalition. Like, what the fuck's the difference?
Like, we're not going to be with you just for you to abandon us,
exactly.
and then us be, left helpless to Thrag's army. And
I like that he says, my people can't take this.
Yeah. And then Alan says, we have no plan to abandon you and focus our attention on other territories. We have a better way.
So this was the only place that, Alan and, all of them planned on, liberating or whatever. Mark says, you don't need to fight. You just need to trust us. So
and they keep referencing this plan.
Yes. Next page, Space Racer is
randomly he's doing what he does best.
He's doing what he does best.
He's doing something random.
Hanging out in space.
Right. And
living for
just
no reason.
We don't know where he came from.
He's no reason to be alive.
Where did you come from?
So he's following this Viltrumite who's bloodied up and beaten up.
And we don't know where he came from.
Okay. That's not the same Viltrumite, right?
No.
That
he has
Mark
short
fought?
hair.
Yes. They didn't bring him to the ship for interrogation,
and cut his hair,
and then release him just so Space Racer could follow him. This felt really weird. And this was about the pacing.
They captured a lot of them, though. And I think
Why not show him fly into space, beat up after, say, I don't know, Omni-Man or Nolan or Space Racer fought him, and then him fly away just to follow him? You know what I mean? It just felt really weird, though. I agree about that.
Are we missing something? Did they show this guy in the background somewhere getting pummeled?
I looked over and over. He's not in this. So I think we have to assume that this is another Viltrumite from that planet that just escaped after getting beat up, and Space Racer's following him.
And contacted, them as like, listen, I'm on this guy's tail.
Yes, so that was Mark's plan. Mark's plan was to liberate one
Not
planet.
the plan.
Okay, part of the plan. The first step was to liberate a planet, let one of the Viltrumites escape.
Not capture them or say, you're free to go. Just let them think that they got away.
Let one get beat up, think they got away. Mm-hmm. Space Racer's standing by, ready to follow him, because that's what he does. He races in space. And then just tail him just to get his location. So their goal, and this is someone, I believe somebody wrote in, I'm sorry, but somebody wrote in last week, and we kind of talked about, are they just going to go straight to Thrag? You know what I mean? So this is Mark's plan, is they're getting Thrag's location. So next page, Alan's saying, are you sure about this plan?
We get more hints about the plan in
but
this.
still they don't blatantly say it
But
yet.
we get like major hints on this
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's Alan says, are you sure about this plan? And Invincible's like, you're not. And he goes, can you blame me? I'm not sure I'm ready to go down this road again so soon. Not after what happened. And then Mark says, this is different. And he goes, how exactly is this different? And Eve goes, there's more at stake. If done right, this will save lives, in bold letters. Save, meaning that last time they did it, it destroyed lives. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we're getting a lot of hints here, and I cannot think of what it is, but...
Mm-hmm. And then Alan's saying...
They're definitely giving us major hints.
And then Alan's saying, I have to admit, this is unusual for you two. And, Mark says, this is how we do things now. Back to the whole,
So what is...
Being a villain is bullshit.
Oh, being a hero is bullshit. Like,
what is the plan, though, to go to Thrag and just kill Thrag?
From what we know, I mean, that's the end of the issue, so we don't know yet. But I think the plan is to take the fight to Thrag. To just...
I guess so.
Hit him fast and hard.
Like he was saying, if done right, as in if killing Thrag, all the Viltrumites won't have anybody to follow.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? I guess. This is what I mean. Do you see how none of it really... I get
but
they're
again, they're
trying to be cryptic and not obvious and stuff like that. And even then, they're not really being cryptic. Like it shows them go to Thrag's planet, at the end, But I don't know. It's just the pacing felt off for me throughout the entire thing. Every page, it's a new pacing
I think it's
issue
because they were trying to be cryptic. And
I like that, though, because, okay, here's the thing.
There's a good way to do it, though.
The reason why I'm okay with it is if this plan is fucking insane. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If it's something where we're like, oh, okay, then I agree with you about the pacing.
That's all it's going to be.
Right, but you think it's just going to be... That's all it is?
Yeah, dude.
I think
that's what Ryan's
They got
saying.
something major in mind.
Like what?
I think it involves the Guardians. Guardians of the Globe. I think it involves everybody from Earth.
Here's why I think
they're making a play here. Some kind of
I
shocking play.
I
It's
could
not
see
like,
it
let's
be
just go
something
kill
like
Thrag.
that.
That's
but
our plan the whole time.
The reason why I don't think it'll involve the Guardians from Earth is because of what Eve said. If done right, this will save lives. They're trying to involve as few people as possible, not bring it to Earth, not let it get out of hand. Just get in there, surprise them, element of surprise. Because,
Maybe.
And I'm going to talk about this at the end of the issue. The end of the issue is Thrag saying finally. Last Thrag knew they were dead. Like, this is them using the element of surprise. Going to him. Not only does he expect somebody to find him, but not the people he just killed. So they're using that. Now, I agree with you. That doesn't feel like it was portrayed easily in this issue, but maybe because that reveal is coming next issue.
But okay, there better be something more because
that's what I'm like the whole Guardians thing. I think that would be cool. But what I am saying is that the plan is definitely not more. We're just going to kill Thrag. I think that there's going to be a lot more to that.
Like, do you think it's going to be like in Galaxy Quest when they're flying the ship and then he's like, well, you coming at me, I'll rip through you like tissue paper. And he's like, but I'm dragging mines. And it shows all the mines behind him. And like all the mines are going to be like the Guardians.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
What?
Yeah, I need to see it again.
But you've seen Sky High probably like 5,000 times, right?
Too many times. No. Before we move off this page, I think that Ottley and Fairbairn did an awesome job on this page. I love the coloring on Eve and Mark on the bottom of this. Turning the page and seeing this statue was so awesome.
Yeah, so actually Mike Barrett wrote into us and said, Battle Beast Planet, what in the holy fuck was that? How can the Battle Beast react in that way? All those beasts could have easily killed Thrag, or at the very least kicked Thrag off the planet. Do we think this is it, the last we will see of Battle Beast Planet? Or do you think it's a shell game? Show Thrag one thing while secretively working behind the scenes against him? Was the prophecy of another just bullshit? So what's happening here is, they arrive at the planet and at the Battle Beast Planet,
Thrag and
they're all getting
kids.
off, and it shows I'm guessing the king of the planet welcoming him with open arms.
King Rock.
Yeah,
No.
Thok.
No, King Rock.
No, Thok was
Battle
Beast.
Beast.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, okay, yeah,
King
yeah.
Rock is the one that welcomes him.
Yeah, and he brings up Battle Beast and how he was good, but then he became a tyrant and all this.
He became obsessed.
Yeah, and thank God you killed him and all this other stuff. And Thrag is kind of taken back. He's like, this is unexpected. He wasn't expecting a welcoming committee. and then one other battle beast, or one other, of their kind,
Ambassador Mock,
says, basically, what are you thinking? Like, this guy's trying to enslave us, and why are we welcoming him? And then he gets fucking stabbed in the back for,
Well, he said, he says, this man seeks to enslave us, and then he's like, this is madness.
This is Sparta.
And then, he said, no, this is actually Sparta, where you are right now.
Yeah. In fact.
So
they kill that guy. They kill, Ambassador Mock for speaking out.
My thoughts on this.
Go for it, because I have thoughts.
I also have thoughts.
Is that this is part of the plan, the big plan, but them killing that guy makes me think that it's not a part of that plan, but it could be all a setup. Maybe he's not dead or something. But I think that this is so too, I guess, weird. That's not the word I'm looking for. To just think that it's
over and done with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill?
So Mike Barrett had said, couldn't all those beasts have killed Thrag and all everything like that? Here's my thought process. That's like saying that everybody that lives on Earth is Superman.
I do agree that
just
that
Battle Beast was
an anomaly.
Yeah.
I agree that he was an anomaly.
The other thing that I want to talk about is, do I think that it's do they have another plan? I think so.
I agree.
I absolutely think so. I think that guy maybe not even be dead.
I think he is, and I think that this just might be part of their culture. This is just another alien race. Maybe killing somebody, that's a sacrifice that he was willing to take. Right. Because maybe that guy dying, he knew he was gonna. Say they knew this was about to happen, and they were like, okay, here's the plan. Ambassador Mock, you're gonna speak out, and we're gonna kill you in front of him. You're gonna sacrifice yourself so that we can move on with our plan, which I don't think has anything to do with Marx.
I agree that it would be something like that. I don't think it would be like the culture or something. Like, it definitely.
Okay, maybe
if this is just a plan and they're actually good and they're going against Thrag, then the death of that, guy will be explained in some way. They're not just going to we're actually good, because that would defeat the purpose of their redemption, of the Battle Beast planet redemption.
I mean, Battle Beast wanted to be killed in battle. He thought it was an honor to die. He was excited to die. This guy,
maybe if
he was
their
part
culture.
of the plan, that's a good idea.
Here's the other thing. Why are we trying so hard to make this planet good? Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he is yeah, sure, we like the Vultramites. We like some one person to rule us because that's what we had to begin with. Is it because we like Battle Beasts that we want these guys to be good guys?
Well, this guy Thrag, this Viltrumite, was also the one who took down Battle Beast, so he's a superior warrior.
They loved they loved Thok or Battle Beast.
Yeah. So but they also respected the person who killed him, just like Thok did. Yeah. And I will forever call him Thok now that I know his name.
No, you won't.
I will.
Thok.
God bless you, Thok.
But at the same time, another thing is the very last thing that Mike said was, do we think that the there is another is just bullshit? I don't think that, and I think that there is another Battle Beast that's going to be that's going to rise up. And how are they going to introduce that when the entire planet just gave up on him? If the entire planet gave up or surrendering to Thok or surrendering to Thrag, do you think that this thing is going to be now working with Thrag?
I wonder. I have a feeling. That's an interesting theory, but I think that showing this planet and there still being the mystery of there being the prophecy is not a coincidence. I think the prophecy and what happened in this scene have to go hand in hand. Whether the prophecy is going to flip this back to the way it should be or what. But yes.
Do you know who Ambassador Mock is, right? He's the one who said there is another.
Was it? Oh, we should look back at that. It might have been actually.
His name is Ambassador Mock, as an ambassador to the coalition.
We're gonna have to look that up.
It's him.
I agree that it probably is.
Go back.
But I want to go. I don't remember what issue that is. It's
It's got to be
15 or something. Yeah.
No. Because when did Battle Beast die?
Battle Beast died in 119, 120.
So it'd have to be the issue after that.
Oh, you're right. It probably would be. I don't know. We'll look it up later.
That's him. He's the one who said it.
Or we'll pause it right now and look. And we're back because we had to look that up. If you look at issue 122, in which Alan gives the news of the death of Battle Beast
to the Coalition,
the Council of the Coalition, there he is, Ambassador Mock. That is him sitting there saying that, there was the prophecy of another. Awesome.
So this is even more solidifying the fact that it is some kind of plan.
So
something's going on.
So the guy that prophesied it was the one that just died. Awesome.
But
that's so cool.
But I think that this more solidifies your idea, Ryan, in that this was all part of the plan and he sacrificed himself because he is the ambassador to the coalition. So he is the one who could talk to Alan directly, and Alan's like, hey, this is kind of our plan. And he's like, you know what, I have a really good idea.
So that goes back to what TJ's saying, that this might have to do with the big plan.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I think that they're all working together.
Interesting.
It being the ambassador being murdered, and he's the one who is the ambassador to the coalition, is not a coincidence.
Crazy. Awesome. Okay, moving on. Space Racer's still racing. He's still... He's still following that Viltrumite, and he says, yeah, he led me right to him. Debbie and Tara. I did not, and I think we talked about this, I did not expect to see Tara or Debbie for at least 3 issues.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to see them again until...
Mm-hmm. Great conversation, though. Debbie talks about how she used to live there, and how Tara's scared that, her daddy will go away and she'll forget him, or that she'll forget him again. And,
I love that.
Yeah, really good. And, Debbie saying that you have to be strong, and then Tara trying to be strong by just squeezing really hard. Then, what I think is a very important scene, these next 2 pages, the arrival of Thrag, and then one of his children kneeling down and offering him a trophy, which I think the trophy, that's a Viltrumite ship, right? On the top of the trophy? Kind of looks like one.
No, it just looks like a...
Just
I mean,
shape?
it could be the shape.
Yeah.
But...
He's like, this Viltrumite son is kneeling down saying, in honor of your recent victory, we want to present you with, and then Thrag just punches him, get out of my way. Yes, father, sorry, father. And Ursula, scowling.
What does that look mean? What does that look mean? I mean, obviously we know, but here, she is angry that their great leader is not really a leader. He's a selfish...
Goes back to last issue.
All he cares about is himself.
He doesn't care about,
He doesn't care about the Viltrum Empire. He cares about his, him.
I still think he kind of does, though, because he just does. He never really shows that.
Well, he's
because there was that one page. I think it was in 133 where he almost crushed her head, and then
yeah. I mean,
hugged her.
Yeah,
he was just controlling himself though to not lose her.
I think that was
disagree.
last issue.
Was it
actually?
Last
yeah,
issue?
It was the beginning of last issue.
134.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, it's tying directly into that. And then one of my favorite pages in this issue. I love this page. Just Ursula walking along the side of a giant Viltrumite logo, looking at it, scowling, and then punching it. And
she looks surprised.
Well, she's surprised because of her punch making such a loud noise, but it wasn't her punch that made the noise, because it happens again.
Comes again, yeah.
And you find out that loud noise that she heard when she punched it was actually Space Racer shooting up the place. So before we move on,
Space Racer shooting up the place.
Yeah. Before we move on to that, though, what does this mean? I mean, Ursula is. I mean. This is a kind of a big deal. This is nailing home the fact that she's kind of defiant to what Thrag is doing. And, I mean, think back to...
She will be his undoing.
You think so? So, is this a Governor moment? Spoilers for the Walking Dead comic and I think the show. But, I mean, the Governor was taken out from someone inside, He
was shot.
Yeah, by one of his own.
By the girl, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean... I don't know if she's going to be his undoing, but I think she will definitely lead to it.
She's not going to be the one to kill him or anything.
She will die. She will throw a punch and maybe hurt him pretty bad.
You think Thrag would kill her?
And then he's going to tear her.
Maybe that was foreshadowing.
If she betrays him, he's going to fuck her.
He's not even going to think about it. He's not going to think about it. But this is kind of cool.
But it won't matter.
Proving that he doesn't care about her.
It won't matter because whatever she does is going to. It's going to.
Cause
it's going to be something
how convenient
really
that
bad for Thrag.
She finally kind of comes to a breaking point, and what do you know? But Space Racer.
Wait, okay. So Space Racer. Guess what he's dragging?
What he's dragging?
He's dragging mines, just like Galaxy Quest.
Sorry.
Like how he flies and then behind him. I guess it's behind him, right? Because they just show up. See what I mean?
Do you mean?
First, the panel is Space Racer flying away from a building that he presumably blew up.
Yeah, he's shooting buildings and then also attacking the city. Here we got this 2 splash pages in a row. Awesome looking pages. This 2-page splash of Mark Allen Omni-Man and Eve.
This will be a print.
Oh yeah, it should be.
Ottley
It
will
does
sell
look
these
like
at
it.
cons. If
The
he
coloring,
doesn't, he
everything
should.
about this page is gorgeous.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
It's got all the main characters right now.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So, final page is Thrag looking out the window at this attack, and we're assuming this is that planet from the beginning of this page, or this issue, right? Where they want their central base to be.
Yeah.
And him saying, finally.
He doesn't even like care that they're still alive. It wasn't even a big
So,
deal to
yeah,
him.
that's the thing. Is that going to be like, next issue, they fight, and he's like,
It's gonna
so
be
you
like
survived,
a quick,
huh?
Exactly. It's going to
Yeah.
be something quick.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is dumb because it was such a big deal that I guess so. Like it's not gonna be. But here's my problem with this. If there's not more to this plan, if they're not gonna be like, we surrender, Thrag, we surrender to you.
Then it better go right because they walked
better
right into this.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 Viltrumites flying at them right now, not counting the fucking hundreds.
What about all the ones that were kneeling? The ones that were kneeling
Right.
down when he arrived.
1, 2,
There
3.
look like they're yeah.
There's 4. There's 4 of them.
There's got to
Against
be
an
more.
entire
You're right.
planet.
There's got to be more.
An entire planet. Like they either there has to be more, or they're gonna be like,
Here's the
Mark's gonna be
plan.
Like,
Go straight for Thrag. All of us gang up on him and then
they
bounce.
can't
like
go. They can't. How are they
gonna find him?
How are they gonna fight him?
Yeah.
How are all? If all 4 of them fly as fast as they can at Thrag,
They're getting intercepted.
They're not gonna kill him. They might hurt him, but then as soon as a second goes by, a whole planet of Viltrumites is gonna be on them.
Whatever this big plan is, it's going to be in the next issue for sure.
I
Yeah.
guarantee. Can I have a prediction? Because now I have a prediction.
okay.
I think that they're gonna stop, and they're gonna be like, "We surrender."
I think that they're just
It's gonna
they're
be something
they're
like
going to
that.
be taken down, but
Really? You think so?
I don't think they're
Wow.
gonna be taken out. I think they're not gonna put up a fight. They're gonna stop and they're
So
gonna
do
be
you
like,
think
that's
that-
way
surrender.
too suspicious. They have to fight a little bit and then be like,
Well,
oh,
you
fuck,
gotta
guys,
think- you gotta think
guys
maybe
beat
they're-
us, we surrender.
No, they might.
And that raises another question too. Why would Thrag take them as prisoners?
So, Bill, what you want to see, or what you're saying will probably or could happen, is they are presented to Thrag beat up and bloody for Thrag to give the order to either execute or something, and that's when the plan will enact.
No, I think the plan's going to happen the very next page. That doesn't happen right now, but in the next issue is going to be them throwing up their arms, surrendering.
So that's what I mean. After
Bam,
they,
we're here. Oh, and we surrender. Why would they do that
because
and not fight?
but what I'm saying, Bill, is you want them to get a face to face with Thrag in surrender in order to do something.
in order to do something.
Yeah,
right,
that's what I'm
but
saying.
they're not just going to surrender.
Who knows, TJ?
We will find out, won't we?
Won't we?
Oh, let's stick a pin in
Stick
it.
a pin in it.
I'm so right about this. You're so wrong.
No.
You're so wrong.
No, I'm not.
The first page is going to be we surrender.
Well, you know what? Maybe the next on will give
Yeah.
us a
All
little
right. Give
bit
us
of a...
Bill. Give us the next on.
All right, so first the cover.
Oh my God, this is the one that's all blood.
Maybe they don't surrender right away.
Oh,
they're
weird. Weird.
Oh, the covers, first of all, never. I mean, they intentionally mislead,
Yeah.
but there's definitely going to be some fighting in next
There's
issue.
a lot of blood.
Ugh.
No one is covered. Eve's front and center, which means
No,
So, I mean, Eve could have a major role in this. So, The End of All Things, Part 4. Thrag's new Viltrumite stronghold is under attack. Invincible and the coalition of planets have decided to take the fight right to the source, resulting in the bloodiest battle thus far.
So how can it be the bloodiest battle thus far if they just turn the page and it's like we surrender?
Right, I agree. They what if they do? What if they say, "Okay, I surrender," and then they get pummeled, and then they're all bloody? We could both be right, TJ.
We can't both be right. I'm telling you, we're not both right. They're not gonna because the first thing that happens is, bam, we're here, and they come in a cloud of smoke, and then they're like, we surrender. Thrag's gonna be like, oh, something's fucking
Yeah, maybe they
suspicious
would
here.
just destroy that building over there and be like, "Oh, we surrender."
Yeah, that is true. I do think that there's something more to this, though. Because you're right. I mean, what are they going to do? Do they stand a chance?
No, they do not stand a chance. In their current position, they will die.
I think that there is going to be a fight, and that there's going to be let's take them to our leader, and then Thrag is there, and then something happens. But Thrag, I feel like the second Thrag sees them, he's gonna fucking kill them. He's got no reason to keep them alive.
Thrag will not wait in the background. He's going to fly out and be a part of the fight. He's
I
going to be front.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I have a prediction. I think somebody is going to die in the next issue. And I think it's
agree with
time.
that too.
It's going to be Space
Racer. Yes.
You know what?
It's time.
Space Racer.
It's time.
Space
He
Racer.
got a
Pissed me off
spot.
so-
He got so much screen time in this issue, and somebody
One
has to
thing
die.
I will tell you
Somebody
is
has
that
to die next issue.
Thrag and Space Racer will be in the same scene together. We're gonna get some fucking answers. If we don't get answers in the next
What if he's
issue,
like,
we are not getting answers.
You're going to elude me again, are you?
What if? Wait a minute.
What if Space Racer turns on them?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I
fuck.
was just gonna say. What if Space Racer kills Nolan?
Oh my
Space
god.
Racer is not going to be
His
the
gun,
one
though.
to kill fucking Nolan. No
gun.
fucking way.
His gun.
No way.
His gun.
Would you be pissed?
If Space Racer kills fucking Omni-Man, hell yeah.
Are we all in agreement that the way that issue ended with Space Racer running from Thrag and Thrag was gaining on him was what the fuck happened?
Here's the thing.
So
We've talked about it several times. We've talked about it several times, and the only reason why I think it's a big deal is because that's how an issue ended. It was a splash page at the end. If it was kind of like, oh, but
how
even
the fuck
still,
how did he get away? Did he get caught? What happened to Thrag afterwards? Why didn't Space Racer say anything? Like, we don't know his report. We didn't hear about it. Granted, it was 5 years later, but still, I
feel like there's a lot of characters they could have brought back for this ending, and the fact that they chose Space Racer and Thresha. Why Space Racer? Because something's there.
Well, then again, he is the one that goes into fights with Alan, and like he has been. He is kind of like the Coalition's go-to.
Yeah, but it's just
Space Racer.
It's a simple sentence to like Kirkman can come up with a simple sentence.
We'll see.
To explain
we'll see.
it.
That was before it was ending.
But he hasn't.
Yeah.
Ready?
We'll see.
But he hasn't.
Oh, no, my. We'll see. We'll find out soon. Also in the Pen That Spells section, Kirkman teases maybe what's next? A video game? That would be awesome. I'd love a video game.
I had a dream.
Telltale video game.
It'll probably be Telltale, you're right.
It will absolutely be a
I had a
video
dream that Skybound released the trailer for the movie, and there was an announcement for the video game on the same day. And I remember it was like, you know how dreams are like kind of weird, and you don't know why you know certain things, but it was at the end of July.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Obviously, the trailer is not going to come out at the end of July, but
the game announcement
maybe next year.
maybe.
What if it's next July? What if it's in a July?
I think we're going to get a video game announcement before.
I'm
next
excited
July.
because I think, soon, eventually, maybe after an announcement or something like that. But I want to have a video game episode. Talking about Invincible as a video game, how it would work, what we want to see, and maybe talk about some video games we're playing. And
I think the
like
inevitable one is, I'd put so much money on the fact that we're going to have a Telltale one.
Well, because Skybound's already working with
exactly
Telltale.
The Walking Dead,
If
which
there's
is
a
canon
Walking
with the
Dead
comic,
one,
not the show.
Walking Dead put Telltale on the map.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it did. On a new level, because Telltale's been doing a lot of games for a long time, but they brought it to the masses.
Yeah. Sean Makowitz and Robert Kirkman also leave the Pen That Spells section by teasing headbutts. So many headbutts next issue. So we're going to get some fights, and it's going to be great.
Eve's head is going to get crushed. Eve's going to die.
What if someone dies by repeated headbutts?
That's interesting. We've never seen that before, have we?
I mean, that's his way of teasing it.
Are you being sarcastic?
I'm being sarcastic.
Okay,
I'm being sarcastic.
Like,
it was Conquest.
Remember when fucking Kirkman said?
What?
We've got another couple emails. TJ, you've got one for us, right?
Yeah, from Niall. First time ever writing in. That's very not true. Hey guys, love this month's issue. Very confused on Mark's plan. Still haven't figured out what he may do yet. Or when the fuck Kirkman will tell us what happened to Space Racer on his mission in space.
Fucking A!
TBH, I thought he was going to go MIA again while tailgating the Viltrumite. Thok. His real name is Thok. Rest in peace to Battle Beast. The statue of him was really nice, but his people are something else. I really hope Ursula will defect very soon. But I was reading online and I see that people think she may get her brothers to overthrow Thrag and she become the ruler. Very torn between the two ideas. Keep up the great work, guys.
You know what? I've been thinking about this a lot lately. They're not going to straight up kill all the Viltrumites. And if Omni-Man dies, is Mark going to actually be the ruler? I mean, maybe Ursula will rule and be a good ruler of the Viltrumites.
I think that role is saved for Invincible.
Because
I think that's what Invincible is going to do after this ends. I think he's going to become the new ruler.
It'd be cool if
Omni-Man.
she was like a general to him.
Right, but that would almost be like an obvious trope that Invincible prides itself on not doing, so maybe
he has
won't.
He has to be for a little bit in order for King Omni-Man or King Immortal to say so.
Oh fuck, you're right.
Can I add a little something? Can I give a little kick to it? Mark grew up thinking that Omni-Man started this this planet rehabilitation coalition. I think That's what Invincible is going to do.
Bringing it full circle. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Oh, I hate that you came up with that because I like it.
I like
fucking
it.
hate.
I like it.
Please, God, Kirkman. Do you think he's done writing it already? Right? You think it's done?
Oh, it's done. Yeah, he's done writing it.
Go back and do edits, rewrites. Don't do that editing.
He's going to do it. That's my prediction.
That's cool. I like that. Bill, you've got an email for us.
I do, and this is from new. The headline is New Listener, and it's from Tim Z. Hey guys, I just found your podcast, and I like what I'm hearing. I'm a big Invinci fan, so it's good to hear other fans of the comic. I've been reading the comic since issue 98, and then went back and collected a bunch of older issues. I absolutely love the whole Rex robot saga, him and Amanda's 700-year stay in the Flaxon dimension, and their return, and especially his takeover was fantastic. I just read 135, and I'm glad that things are finally moving with the war on Thrag. My question is, do you think issues 118 through 132 were needed? I feel like it could have been condensed to like 5 or 8 issues. You guys talked about filler in your last podcast, and I feel like there was a lot of filler during that time. From 118 to 132, the most interesting things were Thrag versus Battle Beast, Terra getting older, Alan is like a chancellor and foils the assassination attempt, Earth is better under Rex's rule, and Mark went on a 5-year dream time skip. Let me know what you think, fan to fan. I'll be listening to your next show. Tim.
I'll say right off the bat that I think it's weird to include issues 23 through 26 in there, being that it's reboot.
Yeah.
And I know that it's not like very contrary to the story right now, but I mean, I think we can all agree that it will be.
I think reboot
Reboot was amazing.
Being 3 issues, I think a lot of it was fan service, and I loved it because it was fan service. It was throwback. It was the musical. It was the musical episode of Buffy. It was for fun.
Yeah,
it was for fun.
To your question, yeah, absolutely, it was filler. Did reboot need to be 3 issues? No, but did we love it? Did you love it?
Yeah. I loved reboot. Yes,
but
if we're only talking about reboot, I don't think that reboot was filler though. I disagree with you about that.
Spaghetti Monster was something.
I think the Spaghetti Monster's coming back, and there'll
be a reason for it.
But that dimension, time.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with
the
anything.
first one. He goes there. The third one he comes back. The middle one was just him being there, and that was fun. I mean, maybe he could have done without the middle one, but I don't care. It was
about
fun.
18 through 22. If you go back to our interview with Ottley, he talks about how this is kind of where he was kind of getting bored with drawing it because it was all in space and there wasn't a lot of action. But not talking about Ottley, talking about reading and talking about story, talking about Kirkman, I enjoyed it too because there wasn't a lot of action, but I thought it was a good story. It wasn't the best of all 135 issues that we currently have. Sure, it wasn't, but I wouldn't necessarily call it filler.
Yeah, I think that it was just a lot different, and
there's a lot of story, but it was good story.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked about with Ottley and on this podcast a lot, is that was when Invincible was different. You know what I mean? It was about family life for a lot of it. It was Mark dealing with being a father, eating bad food, getting used to an alien planet. It was went on
living a normal life.
Yeah, it went on for more issues than we probably expected. But looking at where we are now, I think a lot of those times, a lot of that was important. We wouldn't feel the connection that Mark feels for Terra if we didn't have a lot of those. Go ahead, Bill.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
So I enjoyed all of that stuff, and maybe it's because I am a family man. I have a wife, I have a daughter, I have a son. I enjoyed all of that. Like the issue of, was Mark going to the bathroom and sitting on the toilet,
yes.
and him and Eve
it was after
oh my God, did that come out of you?
Yeah,
was
that
in
eating Heluna's.
This was in this arc. I thought all of that was better than what we just read.
Wow.
I enjoyed that more.
Well,
than
what
I had just read.
Tim, I guess that, it's just different people like different things. Because, Bill,
very subjective.
Yeah. I mean, it was very different. Like we've talked about before, that some people didn't like that era and some people do, and
filler
it might.
Is such a funny thing, though, because
filler isn't always, it has a negative connotation.
We talked about that. Filler is always considered a negative thing, but that doesn't mean it's
You're
negative.
right. That is what we talked about last week.
You can't just have someone say in a comic book or in any kind of media or movie, hey, this person is important to this person, just go with it. All right, I'm just gonna tell you that they just like each other, they're in love, they're a family.
Yeah,
as opposed to actually showing them build this relationship.
Yeah, imagine if somebody issue 4 is where, the fighting is gonna start happening in the end of all things. Should we just tell people, skip 1, 2, and 3, just go right to issue 4? that context is needed.
Not just that.
Needed. It's needed because another thing too is that this isn't like comic books back in like the 70s where each issue had its own villain and then there's an end to it each issue. It's drawn out because it's an ongoing story, and when it's drawn out like that, each individual issue as its individual self I understand how it can feel like it's filler, but it's really not if you put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm going to use a real life example. Ryan, you and Katie are married. You could have told us, oh, okay, so, a month into it or whatever, oh, I'm going to marry this girl and her name's Katie and cool, and be like, oh, cool, you're married, holy shit, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could have spent 5 years you building this relationship with Katie, having all those funny stories, building that relationship and me experiencing it with you, and it means more.
But
that's what I'm saying.
I think where
more.
Tim is coming from is, do you, as an outside person, experiencing the story of Ryan and Katie getting married, do you need 5 years of us dating in order to get? Again, it comes down to
you're
comes down to
invested
what
in more.
Yes,
You're invested in more to those characters.
It's just
But
some
I don't
people
think
have
that 18 through 22 was building Mark and Eve's relationship.
It was building the family relationship, and there was a lot of drama there.
And not
too.
only family, but like Alan and Oliver and.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's when we got some Oliver, and looking back, that was kind of cool getting to see him we got to see him in a rare age that wasn't. I mean, there was so much of him as a young Oliver. And now we're not going to see Oliver anymore. We got to see Oliver as a adult for such a short time.
The reason why we feel the way we do about certain characters is because so much time was spent on them. In these quote-unquote filler episodes or issues. And
it's one of those things that I think that we're always going to look back and enjoy things more, especially rereading and everything like that. So, Okay, so that does it for a new issue discussion. Let's move on now to the fan spotlight. All right, we're here with Rob Hagemeister. I got it right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So welcome to the podcast, Rob.
Thanks.
So, Invincible movie.
Far out, right? Congratulations. Hooray.
It's awesome. So
I feel like I won something.
What's that?
Feels like you won something.
Oh.
I feel like I won something.
We did win something.
Like I'm
the dreams come true.
Like I'm the champion or something, Like this whole time I've been waiting for something to happen, and then you get the announcement, and it's just, I'm excited, man. Really excited.
Yeah, we are too. How long have you been reading Invincible for?
I was trying to figure it out because I knew you guys were going to ask me that. I think I picked up in the 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I started reading when Angstrom was the main guy, the villain. So it was all the interdimensional stuff that kind of sucked me into it. And then, I got a little bit more into it, and I had a friend that worked in a comic shop that turned me on to it. So that's all it took, man. It was just like one issue. Here's Ryan Ottley. This is some new shit, and that's all it took.
Nice.
What got you into it in the first place? Was it Ottley's art, or was it?
It was actually The Walking Dead that turned me on to it. It was the Kirkman's writing, I think, that kind of grabbed me. And like I said, my friend was working in a comic shop, and he said, hey, you're reading The Walking Dead. You should check this out. It's the same guy. And I kind of flipped through it, and I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Awesome.
And it was, Invincible has crazy sales for trade paperbacks. And I think that's kind of what I did was I went back and I bought the first couple of trades I'd missed. And then you want the floppies. And then the next thing you know, you have like the same comic like 5 different ways. So.
Exactly. Now, I think that's interesting because I think a lot of people found Invincible through Walking Dead, and it's interesting that it's very possible that there's going to be a lot of people that find the Invincible movie through Walking Dead because people are going to say, "Oh, this movie that's coming out, it's the same guy that did The Walking Dead."
Yeah, no question. Well, that's what they hope.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, having Kirkman's name on anything is a huge selling point, So, I just hope they don't mess it up.
Yeah. So, for listeners that follow Ryan Ottley online, I'm sure you've seen, Rob, his name pop up now and then. Is it safe to say that you have to have the biggest collection of Invincible original art?
I know Ottley has a ton, and I'm pretty sure Robert Kirkman has a ton.
Yeah.
But I think I got a nice stack, man. I got maybe 3.5 inches thick, 4 inches stack.
That's fucking crazy.
Wow. So how did that start? Like, were you just like that in love with the comic that all of a sudden you just start picking it up here and there, and then?
Well, no, it started with commissions, man. I was like really into getting commissions. This artist named Chris Uminga lives up northeast. That a friend of mine saw something. I saw some stuff he had been doing, and I reached out to him, and I realized that there's artists that will draw anything that you want.
Yeah.
And really getting into Invincible, and the commissions were nuts. And then I realized I could get the original art. And I think the actual one of the first pages I got was from when the warehouse blows up, from that first arc I read when Angstrom.
The Maulers?
Yeah, that was one of the first pages I bought. And, it's kind of like back then it was Mark Hay was the rep for Ottley still, so you could buy a ton of his art there. And Corey Walker lived out here in Phoenix, so he was doing like 3 shows a year, and I just kind of would flip through his portfolio and, take whatever stuff looked good. And it was all pretty inexpensive,
Wow.
So
Awesome.
I was, yeah, man, I've just been, and actually I didn't meet Ottley until a couple of years later, as when I was going to the cons, like my family, we went to San Diego for 10 years in a row, and I wasn't into Invincible at the time. And, my kids said, this was like 2005 was maybe our last year. And I realized, I looked around and there's 120,000 people. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is fucking crazy. We got to get out of here.
I couldn't imagine going to San Diego.
Yeah, it's just nuts, man. Especially when you got, my wife and 2 kids, little kids, and just trying to keep track of them. But so I didn't cross paths with Ottley for a while, and then I went out to actually made a trip out to Salt Lake one year just specifically to go through his portfolios, and I think I came home with like 35 pages and 7 covers or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah. What else were we going to say, TJ? I thought there was something else. Oh, I wanted to ask you, like, Invincible's ending. What are some things that you really want to see happen? Yeah.
Here's what I want, man. The perfect ending for me is I just want everybody to be dead. I just want just kill everybody, because I don't want to have to think about what happened next.
Afterwards,
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So you want it,
like I don't want
confirmed.
everybody to be there. Yeah, I just fucking finish it all. Done. Everybody's dead. Like, the planet built up so easy, blow up Earth like that. And then everybody just dies.
Oh, you want Earth gone too? You want like the fucking universe gone?
They said you will bring out the end of all of us.
Yeah.
What issue 100 was supposed to be?
Yeah, but look at what it turned out to be, right? I don't want it to be anything like that, like a tease, and then it's just this. Like I would hate to see the last shot is Tara like looking over like she's gonna be the next superhero, and I'm just left standing there like, what the fuck? What? I need to know what happens.
Because then we're never gonna get ever gonna get that comic. Maybe.
But then there's the fact that maybe we will. But you don't want that. Maybe it's going to continue. You just want it to end.
Right.
I want it to be all done. That's what, and then have a nice volume of issues going into whatever we have coming up.
So you
and
think there could be something coming up?
Well, like besides the movie, I think there's just so much room for television and an online series, or 3 films, 9 films. Who knows, man? If they do it right.
Yeah.
Look, do you think Kirkman thought Walking Dead was going to be as big as it is when he started?
No way.
Right.
I have to think there's no fucking way he thought there'd be Walking Dead like USB drives and thumbstick shit.
There's an aisle at Target of Walking Dead stuff.
Yeah.
It's just nuts, man. Pajamas and all that. There's no way the dude was like, oh, this is all going to happen. I'm a little nervous that may happen with Invincible also.
It absolutely is going to.
Walking that hot topic.
Yeah, just like a bastardization and just like rape and pillage like Disney and Star Wars. I just don't want to see that.
Halloween. Halloween, people are going to be running around in Invincible costumes.
Yeah, red wigs and all the little silly masks and everything, But it's just big money from now on. I'd love to see like $150 million budget on a Universal film.
Yeah.
I'd love.
But again, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but then again, like we talked about in the past, it's nice to know that Invincible will be over when that happens.
Right.
Unlike Walking Dead.
Yeah. And, I know there's some with the fans that they have issues with, hey, well, this is different in the comic, and they're trying to follow it, but changing things. I just, I think that the Invincible universe is just so well, it's laid out so well that you could go and panel for panel on screen and people are going to just lose their shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, TJ. What'd you have?
Just curious, who's your favorite character, if you can, who's the first one that comes out?
The Angstrom is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Omni-Man as well. Like, I think one of the main themes that Invincible, what I love about Invincible is the father-son theme.
Yeah.
Like, the whole book is about the Grayson family, you know? And I love the fact that that Nolan and Invincible, and there's always, they've had a catch like 4 times in the series. And that's like, we're huge baseball fans in my family. So I have this huge tie with, like, you know, baseball. And I love being I've tried to find those pages for like the last 6 years, man. I can't, like, and then Corey did this one and I was like, oh, it's all digital. I'm never going to get that, you know?
That's
so
right.
yeah, but it's, you know, a matter of trying to find pages at this point, little specific pages.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap up here. We got to get going, but thank you so much for hanging out with us and talking.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, of course. Anytime. Remember, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. And thanks for listening. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
See ya.
The arrival of Thrag coming back from assuming Battle Beast planet.